Welcome. My name is Jim Dreaver. The title of this presentation is The 3 Secrets of Inner Peace, Happiness, and Success. Now just imagine for a moment if you were truly free of inner conflict, stress, self-doubt. Imagine if you'd faced and released all your fears and worries around change, uncertainty, judgment, rejection, loss, and failure. Imagine if you're no longer at the effect of your outer circumstances, if not even financial difficulties, relationship challenges, conflicts at work, or even health problems had the power any longer to take away your inner peace and well-being. Imagine how clear, confident, and empowered you would feel. Imagine how good you'd feel inside yourself. Imagine what you could then accomplish in your life and your work. There'd be few limits to what you could achieve if you set your mind to it. Well, this tape is designed to show you what it takes to find true inner peace and happiness, and to have the courage to create the life of your dreams. Perhaps you've heard of Rumi, the 12th century mystic and poet. He said many wise and beautiful things, and this is one of my favorites. Whoever enters the way without a guide will take 100 years to travel a 2-day journey. I originally developed this presentation as a study guide for my transformational coaching clients and for the people who attend my workshops. I wanted to give them a reminder of what they need to know in order to be inwardly free, happy, and at peace, and then what they need to do to manifest their inner clarity and freedom and the kind of creative action that will bring them the results, the outer success they seek in their relationships, work, and life. In short, what is needed to live, create, and work at 100% of their potential, instead of chugging or drifting along at 75% or 60% or less. But I then decided to make the tape available to a wider audience, to anyone who was interested. After all, I can only work with a relative few people individually, yet the information on this tape is invaluable knowledge for anyone who is still seeking inner peace and happiness, and who still feels that they could do more in terms of fulfilling their dreams or creating the life, the ideal circumstances they desire. Now, before we go any further, I'd like to tell you why I call the knowledge that I'm sharing with you the 3 secrets. The dictionary defines a secret as a mystery, something which is kept hidden. It also says it is a method, formula, or plan known only to the initiated, a few. Think about it. Quite a few people already know the secret of success because they are successful in their lives, at least in terms of having accomplished the goals that matter to them, which is how I define success, by the way. And if you ask them, many of them will tell you their secret. They'll tell you what worked for them. But how many people do you know who have found and who live, day in and day out, the secret of inner peace and happiness? Probably not too many. Well, I want to change that. I feel that everyone has a right to know the secret of finding inner peace and happiness, as well as being outwardly successful. But what I've found is that even when people get this information and seem to really understand it, and they understand it because at some level they realize they knew it all along, what happens is that people soon forget the truth again, as they get caught up in the drama of their lives and looking outward rather than inward for happiness. Once again, the formula for inner peace or success becomes forgotten. Once again, it remains hidden. Once again, it becomes a secret. Then people once again find themselves mired in some degree of self-doubt, conflict, loneliness, depression, suffering. In other words, some kind of discontent or unhappiness. Well, now you know why I've made this tape. So that doesn't have to happen again. My goal over the next 50 minutes or so is to spell out the 3 secrets so clearly that you won't easily forget them. So that one day, if you take this material to heart, true inner peace and happiness will be yours, and then you'll be free to create the life of your dreams, to have the successful accomplishment of the vision and the goals that matter to you. However, before I give you the secrets themselves, I want to take a look first at one of our sacred cows, one of our constitutional prerogatives, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Specifically, let's talk about happiness. Then I'll talk about the very important benefits of learning and embodying the 3 secrets. and then I'll get to the secrets themselves. I know I'm intentionally keeping you in suspense, but then that's the whole idea of a secret, right? To keep you on the edge of your chair as you wait for the mystery to finally be revealed? Yeah, I love doing it this way. People seem to give more of their attention and energy to the listening if they have to wait for the goodies, the big prize, for a little while. Hey, but don't worry. Everything you're about to hear relates to the 3 secrets. The truth is, if you listen closely enough, you'll start to realize what the secrets are for yourself, even before I spell them out. Okay then, about happiness. Now, there are 2 kinds of happiness, the outer kind and the inner kind. The first kind depends on outer circumstances. Excellent health, people liking you, great work, enough money, in short, all of the rewards of success and of feeling in control of your life. It's also based on time. It's very future-oriented. In other words, you'll be happy when such and such happens. Or if things are going well for you now, there is always an element, naturally enough, of wanting to hold on to your good fortune. And there is always the background, nagging worry about whether it is going to last or not. Some people may even try and convince themselves that, this will last forever. Of course that, as anyone who has lived a few decades knows, is an illusion. Change, after all, is one of the fundamental laws of the universe. You don't need a PhD in psychology to know that if you pin your happiness to your life circumstances always staying the same, or you always remaining firmly in control of them, you're going to be in for a rough ride. Nevertheless, most of us are programmed by our culture, TV, movies, advertising, and the media, to seek outer happiness. For many of us, it is the only happiness we know. Yet when circumstances start to take a downturn, when we experience a rejection or loss, the stock market dives, our business falters, or we're laid off, or a relationship doesn't work out, or our kids act up, or health problems arise, or the aging process starts to catch up with us, then the happiness we had soon turns to discontent, stress, and suffering. I think you know what I'm talking about. The good news, however, is that the happiness that doesn't depend on outer circumstances, that shines on its own, is available to everyone who wants it and who knows what to do to find it. Moreover, it is available not at some future time, but it can be found right here, right now. Happiness, in fact, as all those spiritual masters who found enlightenment will tell us, is our true nature. Happiness is wired into us. We just have to know how to tap into it. By the way, I'll be using the term enlightenment from time to time in this talk. And just to clear up any confusion around it, let me assure you it doesn't refer to some idealized or transcendent state of bliss or sainthood. Enlightenment is actually nothing more than a fancy word for the inner peace and happiness that comes with knowing who you truly are, beyond all your beliefs, concepts, and stories about who you are. To be enlightened is to have found the state of inner peace and happiness that does not depend on beliefs, on time, or on circumstances. It is to be connected to the joy, the inner contentment and well-being that doesn't go away. How can I be so sure of all this, you might ask? Well, for almost 20 years, my driving passion was the quest for enlightenment, for inner peace and happiness. While it seemed that a majority of my male peers were pursuing happiness through outer success, through making money and accumulating material security, which is what men in our culture are programmed to do, I wanted to find out if enlightenment was real. I was seeking truth. I was looking for the joy that didn't go away, that didn't depend on outer circumstances. Whatever the reason, I had a compelling need to find the meaning and purpose of life. Don't get me wrong. I still worked. I still made money. I still lived a regular life in the world, including getting married, getting divorced, raising a child. But material acquisition was just never my main focus. So the result of that 20-year quest was that I did eventually find what I was looking for. I found the peace and happiness that do not depend on outer circumstances. I found an inner security, a richness, a joy, and a confidence in being that for over 7 years now has been with me day and night, week in and week out. An inner equanimity and well-being that none of the many changes in my life, the kinds of ups and downs that happen to every one of us, have been able to disturb, other than at times a brief ruffling on the surface waters of my consciousness. But in the depths of my being, that clarity, the inner peace,